Hello everybody and welcome! Today we have the Year 3 Season 4.2 patch details for Rainbow Six Siege. There are some really interesting and very much needed changes coming with this patch, but please do bear in mind that all changes made in the test server are for testing purposes and do not have any guaranteed impact on the live servers. They will be performing maintenance on the test server beginning at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time or 2 PM Universal. So if you're looking to test some of these for yourself in the test server, that's when the update should be live, and obviously there's no date as of yet as to when this will be coming to the main build, but stay tuned. So like I say, there's a lot of interesting changes going on here, and first let's go through these bug fixes. So the first one on this list is very topical at the moment due to the hit show on Netflix Bird Box, and this is the visual graphic glitch that impairs a user's sight, also known as the Bird Box glitch, has now been fixed. Drone collision with the air jab applied on any surface is fixed. Fire damage from any map environmental sources will not destroy Nomad's air jab. I wasn't actually aware this was an issue. I've never come across it myself, so it will be interesting to try that out in the test server. And speaking of the air jab doesn't deploy on some types of debris is fixed. Next up is an issue that I have seen before, and this was with KAID'S shotgun where the shell remains in the chamber while performing a full reload. Obviously this is a bit of a visual glitch and that has now been fixed. Counter diffuser will pop in operator's hand instead of being deployed. Now I'm not entirely sure what this one means, whether it means that there's now going to be an animation when you're trying to defuse the bomb, because obviously at the moment it's just in your hand and there you are just defusing the bomb. It's not really that exciting, so whether they're going to put an animation into that, I'm not entirely sure. Again, it will be interesting to see this in the test server to see what they've done. Goo mine can be deployed in electrified barbed wire if thrown at the same time the rotilla is activated. Again, this isn't one I've personally experienced myself, but if you guys have, let me know in the comment section down below. Some gadgets are not destroyed by operators when pushed through them by Nomad's air jab. This is a really interesting one. So obviously if you're air jabbed when you're near a shield, for example, that shield will then be destroyed, as we've seen in many videos before. But what they're saying possibly is that small gadgets like Bandit and Jaeger maybe, I'm not entirely sure. Again, another interesting one will be to see in the test server to see how that plays out. Incorrect compass location is displayed when drones are close to the ceiling. The rotilla effective zone disappears when switching operators in support mode. Again, I'm not entirely sure on what they exactly mean by that. I don't think it's something I've ever personally witnessed. So again, another interesting one to see in the test server. Users remain infinitely loading into a PvE squad session after voting to retry. That might be one a lot of you have experienced and hopefully has now been fixed. Gadgets remain electrified by the rotilla after destroying the asset on which was originally deployed. Again, this is one I haven't personally witnessed myself. So what they're saying is something like if you put a rotilla on, which is basically KAID'S electro claw, right? If you deploy that onto an asset which then electrifies a gadget, if the asset is destroyed, i.e. a wall, the gadget, i.e. a shield, will still be electrified. I think that's what they're saying there. I'll have to double check that in the test server. Multiple gadgets cause incorrect air jab detonation. Again, this is something I've not seen personally myself. I'm not exactly sure on what gadgets that would set off the air jab, but anything that was incorrectly setting them off hopefully has now been fixed. Again, speaking of the air jab, this next one is really interesting. The yellow light on the air jab launcher now blinks during activation delay. Now it's going to be flashing. So is that going to be a bit more eye-catching to the defenders? I'm not entirely sure. Be really interesting to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. And finally on the bug fixes, misplaced portal breaks, propagation of sound in kitchen and central stairs on Fortress. So like I said, there's some really interesting bug fixes there. It would be really nice to hear your thoughts on those in the comment section down below, so please do let me know what you think. Next up in these patch notes is balancing, and this one really has been a hot topic in the community, and this is the recoil with KAID'S shotgun. So in this patch they have addressed recoil differences for the TCG12 when using a controller compared to a mouse. Now I know a lot of you who play on console are really going to be interested to see how that's going to play out. Hopefully it does make a big difference for you guys that do play with a controller. A couple of little user experience fixes. The first one being 2 observation tool key binding pop-ups are displayed on first boot for new players, and also the scroll bar overlaps the end of the details list for seasonal weapons. Level design patch will see a small fix coming on Fortress in the first floor kitchen where operator bodies will clip through the south wall near the door. Finally on these patch notes are a list of some known issues. Now these are basically bugs that are in the game that they're not actually looking at within these patch notes but will do in the future, and would probably like some feedback on these. Not just these points, if you're playing on a test server and notice anything a bit untoward, I will leave a link in the description down below to report any bugs that you encounter during your time in the TS. So if you do have the time, please do go send feedback. So lastly, like I say, the known issues are voiceover and ambient sounds are too loud, and again, like I say, they would appreciate any feedback you have on this. Walls become indestructible when hitting the same spot repeatedly. Heavy rubber banding causes players to be unable to pass or throw gadgets through some breached walls. AI terrorists are unable to detect players under some circumstances. The def camera playback is at normal speed instead of slowed down when the player is killed. Alibi's gadget appearance is in low quality, and missing frames on crouch replays at the end of round replays and def camera replays. So that is all the details of this Year 3 Season 4.2 patch notes. If you do want to read any of these details for yourself, I will again leave a link in the description down below if you want to do so. But for now, thanks a lot for watching. I do as always appreciate your time, and until next time, goodbye.